In any high-performance organization, you're going to have to deal with growth and scaling sooner or later. Now, hopefully that's sooner, but for some people, that's a little scary. I was actually talking to a guy not too long ago that told me he decided not to grow his business because he was scared that as he grew, he was going to lose his culture. Now, growth and scaling are things that we should be excited about, not that we should be scared about, and they certainly shouldn't stop us from growing our organization. With the right approach, you can not only preserve your culture as you grow and scale, but you can improve it. You can improve your performance, you can improve your bottom line, you can improve all sorts of things while growing and scaling your business. And doing those things will actually help you grow and scale your business faster. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'm going to teach you the most important things that I've learned after doing this for over 10 years in organizations from all shapes and sizes, from startups to major government organizations. If that's the kind of thing that you like to see, go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons below to let me know that I'm giving you the right kind of content. As you grow and scale your organization, your mantra needs to be quality before quantity. When I was younger, and actually I still do this today, but I would go to the shooting range with my parents. And my dad would always yell at me, he'd say, slow down, slow down, slow down. And we were shooting pistols. And I don't understand, I can't slow down anymore. I took 30 seconds to make one shot at the target. Slow down does not help me. What he really meant was quality before quantity. Or in that case, quality before speed, or accuracy before speed. In fact, that concept applies almost universally. If you play piano, or you play guitar, or you play the drums, you play any kind of instrument, you don't start off trying to practice at full speed because you make too many mistakes. Then what you end up doing is you build in those mistakes to your muscle memory, so you make those mistakes more often, and that ends up slowing you down because you're not able to get those results that you want. So instead, what you do is you try to be very deliberate. If you're playing the drums, you're very deliberate about which tom you're hitting or which cymbal and your timing and all those things, and you do it at slow speed to start with. And then gradually you get faster and faster. You don't even have to try necessarily to get faster. It happens automatically. There's actually 3 ways that I'm going to teach you to apply that in an organization when it comes to growth and scaling. If you're a small organization, this may not apply as much to you, but bear with me because this is going to be short and then we'll get on to the rest of the bits that do apply to you. If you're a large organization, you don't want to do the whole thing at once. That's really like trying to shove a whole pizza in your mouth at the same time. It's just not going to work. And it's not going to be a pleasant experience for anybody, you or the people around you watching, although some people may find it a bit funny. What you want to do is you want to take a small pocket, a little bubble of your organization. And this is a concept I call the bubble of awesome. You create this small pocket that's running incredibly efficiently. Gradually, over time, you build that up. If you're a small organization, you actually have a little bit of an advantage here, because in a large organization, when you try to change things, there is a friction, there's a resistance from the sheer size of the organization. I call it organizational gravity. And what happens is when a few people try to change something, they end up getting pulled back towards the collective norm. And it's very difficult for people to break out of that. But when you create that bubble of awesome, or if you're a small organization already, it's much easier to affect these changes. This is going to lead me to the next concept, which I call stacking the deck. And that is, I assume if you're watching this video, you're interested in growth and scaling. But what's your ultimate goal? Why do you want to grow and scale? What is it that you're trying to stack the deck for? And if you let me know in the comments below, I'll try to create some content around the most popular topics to help you guys build your organizations faster. So look, if you have things that aren't working in your organization and you try to scale that up, you're going to get a whole lot of stuff that doesn't work. If you get something right? If you scale up gold, you're going to get a lot of gold. So what you want to do is you want to start with that really good thing and you want to grow that, instead of starting with something that doesn't work and then trying to grow that, because the problems are actually going to intensify. Stacking the deck simply means you're setting yourself up for the best chances of success. Look, our universe has chaos baked into it. I think we've all learned this with COVID-19 and coronavirus stuff. And even if we do everything perfectly right, something can still happen that throws us off course. But the more things that we do right, the more chance we give ourselves of coming out successfully. And if we get ourselves up to where the probability of our success is 99.999%, it is highly unlikely that we're going to fail. And even if something does happen, we'll generally be able to adjust and adapt and maybe even come out in a better place. So for instance, the whole COVID-19 thing helped push me to do these videos. It's something I've been thinking about for a long time, but I said, whoa, now I've got some extra time. I don't have to, worry about some of the other stuff that I was gonna do. I can go ahead and do these videos and get things started. And I expect this is actually gonna lead me to a better place in the long run. Again, goes back to that concept of quality before quantity. As we wanna make sure that we have as many things in place as possible to set us up to be ready for that growth. We don't wanna put ourselves in a bad position. This is the most common mistake that people make, is that they try to take on the whole organization at once. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna stack the deck. We're gonna create that right size organization. Then we're gonna make sure our mission and vision are in place. And if you wanna learn more about that, you can check out the other video that I'll link here and in the description. And we wanna make sure that we've got the right processes. We wanna make sure we have the right people to begin with. We wanna stack that deck so that as we grow our organization, as we grow our business, then we're able to achieve those results as quickly and as easily as possible. The growth will start to come naturally. People are gonna wanna come in, because here's the cool thing when we do this bubble of awesome. This is one of my favorite bits. So if you tell people you have to go do this new process, the organization is adopting this new way of working and you're gonna have to do it. They're gonna, I don't know. It doesn't matter if it's a great thing to do. They're gonna resist, they're gonna dig in because why is this person forcing this on me? What's going on with that? I don't want to do that. You're telling me I have to do this. It's human nature, right? It's called, old boss of mine used to call it people physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. People also have that equal and opposite reaction. If you try to push them to do something, they're gonna push back. They're gonna push with that equal force. In fact, generally people push back with more force. So instead, when you create this little bubble of awesome, you're stacking the deck, you're starting small, you're doing all the right things, you've got that right mission and vision, you've got the right processes in place, then everybody else is gonna say, hey, I wanna go do what they're doing because I'm seeing the results they're getting. And you told them, you can't come in yet. What do you mean I can't come in yet? I wanna go where they're doing. Why can't I do that? Well, because we have to make sure everything's right before we scale it up. We don't wanna cause problems, and I wanna go now. And what's actually gonna happen when you do this is other people in the organization are gonna see what's going on. They're actually gonna start adopting some of these better practices in the rest of the organization if it's a large scale organization. And they're gonna say, hey, I wanna go be a part of that. So they're gonna start asking if they can come in and join. But you don't let everybody in at once, you let a few people in. And this is the last tip, is pace yourself. A few years back, I got a new car, and it's the first new car I'd ever bought. And I always just bought used cars because it was more cash efficient. But I said, you know what? I got a big contract. I'm gonna go ahead and treat myself. I'm gonna get this new car. I'm gonna buy something a little bit sporty. I didn't go too crazy. Well, now that I have this sporty car, I need to really learn how to drive it. So I decided to go take some autocross lessons. As I was learning about all this racing, what I found out is there is a maximum that the car can perform. And there's a lot of factors that play into that. But the important bit is, if you exceed that maximum speed, say going around a corner for what the maximum performance of that car is, then you're actually gonna get slower lap times because you're gonna start to slide and you're not gonna take the most efficient line. So in an organization, what this means is, if you're doing this bubble of awesome, is if you try to, just say, look, we just have to go fast, we have to go fast, and you forget about quality, then you're gonna end up crashing. Or at least, at worst, you're gonna end up sliding or spinning out, and it's not gonna be fun for anybody. Maybe some people like to, sit on the sidelines and laugh. Maybe your competitors actually, it'll be really fun for them because they get to watch you crash and burn while they're getting all the rewards. And unless it's gonna put you out of business or put you in some extremely bad situation, you wanna focus on the long term over the short term. That's just a general principle for any high performance organization. So back to pacing, what you wanna do is slowly grow your bubble, right? If you try to blow a bubble too fast, it's gonna pop. Same thing with an organization. You start with that small piece, you stack the deck, you give everything that you need, and then you slowly let people in. And again, that's going to actually create more desire to be part of that new high performance thing. If you'd like a copy of the complete model that I use to transform organizations and to build these bubbles of awesome, send me an email with the title High Performance Highway. If you enjoyed these videos, please let me know that I'm giving you the right kind of content by hitting those like and subscribe buttons below. Catch you next time.